Extra special warning. Our hosts do no research and preparation for these movies. They are just two cynical douchebags. They think just because they have 10 years of bad TV under their belts, they are qualified to review these horrible movies.
Well, YouTube viewers, Bird Gutter here, once again, with one of the worst movies on Netflix! And this week's movie is Tromeo and Juliet.
We're going back to a Troma film.
Yeah, if you might not have guessed from the title, yes, it is a Troma film.
Yeah.
And we have done a Troma film once before. The hate rained down upon us like fire.
We were attacked from all sides. They were like, fuck you,
and it really affected Bird, and for a long time, he would not allow us to go back to Troma, but now after watching the last 3 or 4 movies where absolutely nothing happened but walking and talking, we are now doing a Troma film once again.
And this time, I accepted it. I took it in because...
Well, because the last movies we have watched have been awful.
That's exactly right. And I get, we needed a Troma film.
Yes, we did.
We needed Lloyd Kaufman.
Yes, we did. And that'll probably be the last nice thing you hear about Lloyd Kaufman come out of this dude's mouth for the rest of the review.
Yeah.
So there it is right there. Savor it. Okay, well, Tromeo and Juliet, it is basically the Romeo and Juliet story, but with lesbians, titties, farting, and lots of facial piercings.
Big time.
That's basically what this movie is. It is like a punk version of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. A Troma version of Romeo and Juliet.
And of course, it's directed by Lloyd Kaufman himself.
Yeah. You even spot him in this movie.
Like every Trauma movie. He's got to put himself in there, yeah.
Why not?
But there is one good thing about this movie. It starts off with fucking Lemmy. You know, from Motorhead, you know, Lemmy.
You were like, Lemmy!
And he reads some Shakespeare off in the beginning, blah, blah, blah. And it moves on to the Capulets and the Montagues, or whatever. How they hate each other, you know, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, let me just point out here that I don't know dick about Romeo and Juliet. I don't read any Shakespeare, never have. If that makes me unsexy and uncool, then fuck it.
You know, you could always go Netflix that fucking Romeo and Juliet with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's gay. I don't want to watch that crap.
But I was saying, it's, you know, they say the words, blah, 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 blah. But it's with guns, so it's better.
Ooh.
This movie's pretty fucking boring. I mean, yes, it has the trademark Troma titties, the trademark Troma fucking gore, all that stuff.
It had a fucking, a dick puppet.
At one point, yes, Juliet was having a dream, and some dude was there, and he pulls out this giant monster dick. And when we mean monster dick, we're talking about, like, the snake from, what is that, Freddy 3.
Yeah.
From Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where Freddy was like, ow, ow. But it wasn't like that big. It was about that big.
Yeah, but it was like coming out and he was like, there was a lot of funny parts in this movie.
Yeah, it has moments. It did also have a real nipple piercing scene with some chick in a tattoo shop getting her nipple pierced, like, bloop.
Yeah, the dudes were talking and they were just showed like the real close-up shot of her titty, and they were like putting a little hook in and, you know,
and I do have to say that the dude that played Sammy Capulet, the dude with the fucking little blonde pigtails and the jack-o'-lantern shirt, was quite creepy. Everything and everybody in this fucking movie are either disturbing or creepy.
Yes.
But it's a Troma film. What do you fucking expect, you know?
I don't expect anything less. If it would go another way, you'd be like, this is not a Troma film.
So there's all this dancing and stuff at this club. We think it's a club, whatever, but it's some awful dancing that's not going along with the awful music, because no music in a Troma movie's ever any good. And it's normally doesn't fit the fucking movie, what's going on in the movie anyway.
It was like, no,
it wasn't. It was some shitty kind of punk type fucking shit.
Was it?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But they were still, they were all dancing like this.
The music was fast, and they were like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the dudes that were... The one dude was in the background. He was fucking awkward as shit. He's sitting there like this, like looking like, do I turn? Do I twist? What do I do?
So Tromeo's 2 friends at this party get in a fight with Sammy, take him in the back and cut off 2 of his fingers with one of those paper cutters. And I do have to say, Troma, it's where ugly people go to act. I mean, fuck, dude.
Yeah, yeah. You can't deny it.
YouTube, where ugly people go to bitch.
Yes. The ugly people have Troma to go to, and then we have this to go to.
Yeah, that's about it.
There you go.
So, Juliet has this lesbian scene with Debbie Rochon. And if any of you people out there are bad movie connoisseurs like us, you know who Debbie Rochon is. Here, let me throw up some of her movies right now that she's in.
Holy
Yeah, see,
shite.
she is like if Wynorski was a female and a B-movie actress. That's nothing like Wynorski. But still, they're still fucking rolling. That's not even fucking all of them. That's just the ones I picked to show you. Fuck. Alright, moving on. The cartoon sound effects in Troma movies, you know,
They always go over.
But whatever, you know. It's a Troma movie. Like, Poultrygeist, this one gets a pass just because it's a fucking Troma movie. I grew up on fucking Troma movies. What can I say? That's probably half the reason why I'm doing this now is because of Lloyd Kaufman and his creepy child molester looking ass.
Like, how much do you think fucking Lloyd Kaufman masturbates doing every scene? He's like, action!
So Juliet is set up by her father, her creepy Kmart Dave Thomas of a father, right? To this meat guy, London something or other. And the meat guy, besides Lemmy, is the best thing about this fucking movie, because this dude overacts the shit out of it. Kind of like Arby from Poultrygeist, but he just overacts the shit out of it. Like, hey, I'm crazy.
I know, but I loved Arby.
Yeah, Arby was cool and Meat Guy's cool. And of course there's this costume party, you know, there's always going to be a costume party with Romeo and Juliet where they can meet and blah blah blah. And guess what? There was a Toxie in it. There's always going to be a Toxie in a Troma movie. I mean, always. It has to be. Just like there always has to be a million Troma posters over every fucking wall you ever see in the movie. Class of Nukem High. Class of Nukem High 2. Blah blah blah.
Lloyd Kaufman promotes the shit out of himself.
Nobody else will, so he might as well. Oh yeah, we've got to mention that Tromeo is one fucked up looking motherfucker.
Yes, he's the white Michael Jackson.
He is the Kmart white Michael Jackson.
And he's a mouth breather. This fucker never closes his mouth. He just like, either his teeth are too big or he's just like, eh.
So Tromeo and Juliet meet and kiss at this party, you know, blah, blah, fucking blah, Romeo and Juliet. But then...
Give me a kiss, Tromeo.
And then what comes to save the fucking day? But fucking Lemmy's back to read a little more Shakespearean type shit for the act breaks. So at least we can always look forward to Meat Guy and Lemmy.
Yeah, we can look forward to that. Definitely not look forward to Creepy Dad.
Speaking of Creepy Dad, right?
Fucking Speedos.
Yes, okay, so Juliet's having a dream. She screams in her dream, and she wakes up to numerous dreams, wakes up to finding Creepy Dad in her bed spooning with her in his fucking blue fucking Speedo.
You've been a naughty girl, haven't you?
Yeah, and he's like, pulls up her fucking curling iron and says something about like, you and your sex toys, rah, rah, rah.
I mean, clearly it's a curling iron, but no, Daddy is like, I think everything's a sex toy to Daddy.
But speaking of freaky Daddy, he takes Juliet and locks her in this fucking timeout glass box, right?
Can you imagine what Daddy's like down in the kitchen, grabbing spoons and shit. This is your sex toy, isn't it? Daddy, that's a spork.
But anyway, Daddy locks Juliet in this glass box. Tromeo sneaks in and fucks her in said glass box. And then sneaks out of the house.
That's awesome. That's a good timeout thing. Go ahead and put your kids in a glass box in a dark, blacked out room.
So Juliet goes and talks to Meat Guy. So what would any sane guy do when a woman breaks up with them?
Beat their head against a pig.
No, that happens a little bit later. First, he just beats his own ass like Jim Carrey from Liar Liar.
You know, he went Van Damage on his ass.
And then a little bit later, he's sitting there headbutting a carcass of a pig. Bang, 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 blood all pouring down. Bang, bang, bang. And then after that, he grabs a meat hook and repeatedly stabs himself in the chest.
But then he's fine.
But yeah, then like 2 minutes later, he's fine.
He's like Wolverine.
Whenever Juliet's dad says, "You can't be with Tromeo," and she's like, "All right," so she gets, they have Meat Guy over for dinner and they get back together. Even though Tromeo and Juliet are now married by this Kmart Oliver Platt of a priest.
Who's creepy as fuck.
They're all creepy.
Who has daydreams of dancing with a redheaded kid.
And of course, you know, there's a fight scene between the Montagues and the Capulets, and, you know, there's a tattoo gun in the eye, a Hitler hammer that goes into another dude's head.
It was Hitler had been wielded by fucking Jim Morrison.
And then they're all running down the streets and a car chase happens or something, and there's a windshield and there's no windshield, no windshield, and then they use the same fucking Troma car flip explosion that is in every fucking Troma movie ever. Doesn't even match the car that was supposedly the one that flipped the fuck over.
And then the car turned out to be fine,
yeah.
too. I love the Kmart Jim Morrison's fucking voice, though. He talks out of the side of his mouth. He looks like
he was one of the Capulets.
He looks like Jim Morrison, but he sounds more like Mel Blanc doing a voice. He's like, "Hey, yeah, what you doing, my cousin, eh?"
So, Juliet gets told, you know, she has to marry fucking meat guy.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do that, so
Big headbanger.
So she goes to this opium den in fucking Chinatown and talks to this dude and gets this little vial of green juice.
With Mr. Yen.
Yeah. And then on her wedding day with meat guy, she's in her dress, she drinks said green juice, starts puking up green fucking jello, and then turns into a cow woman.
I thought we were rewatching fucking Snakes on a Train when she started spitting up the green goo.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, not Snakes on a Train.
But then she turns into a cow woman. Meat guy comes in, freaks out, only after she whips out her big, floppy donkey dick.
She looked like Miss Piggy if the same thing happened to her that happened to the dude for RoboCop went into the toxic waste.
Yeah. So anyway, after that, he jumps...
Kermit! Get off me, man!
So meat guy jumps the fuck out the window, splats on the fucking ground. So I forgot to mention that there is a Kmart Scott Hall in this. But I would figure this dude's probably doing a little bit better right now than Scott Hall.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a Kmart Scott Hall, and the priest beats the fuck out of him and then curb stomps him. Blah! And while Juliet's still in cow mode, her dad comes in, freaks out, and tries to fucking kill her.
Yeah, it was real weird. He came in and he's like, "Juliet, a mask." And then just tags her, you know, he just goes ready to beat the ass.
Yeah. So Tromeo comes in and beats down Dad, and we applaud.
Yeah, but she's stuck. What the fuck?
Oh, we'll get to that, all right?
Oh, okay.
So Tromeo beats that ass down, but Dad gets back up.
Dad had he was.
Hits Tromeo, takes Tromeo out. Juliet takes her fucking sex toy fucking curling iron.
Against his face.
On Dad's face. He's down on the ground. She takes 2 hairpins, jabs it in his fucking ears. He pulls out his eardrums. Then she takes a hair dryer and sticks it in his fucking mouth. And smoke's coming out.
I know.
And then Tromeo takes 2 tampons, right? Jams them the fuck up his nose, and then hits him with a big fat Shakespeare book, and he's still fucking kicking, right? So then they take this big, huge fucking Apple-like monitor from 1982, and then they blow on his fucking head, and guess what? Dad's still fucking kicking, right?
Yeah, at that point, Tromeo gave it up because he was like, alright, he's had enough, he's done. Meanwhile, Dad's getting up, grabbing his bow.
Yeah, with his fucking crossbow.
Yeah.
And then holds up a crossbow point and makes him go up into the timeout glass room. But Dad gets into the glass room, or the glass box for some reason. Juliet takes the plug to the monitor, plugs it in, head the fuck explodes, right? So you'll think, oh, happily ever after, there must not be a suicide because, you know, in Romeo and Juliet, they kill themselves. Well, that ain't happening here.
We wish it would have.
Yes, for real, but Lloyd Kaufman cannot go with the conventions of Romeo and Juliet and have them die.
Fuck
so
that.
what the fuck does he have them do? He has them find out that they are brother and sister.
Oh my god!
And then what the fuck happens when they find out they're brother and sister?
They say fuck it.
Juliet literally says, fuck it. You know, so they're getting together and they're gonna get married and fuck. And guess what? They get married and they fuck a lot and they have 3 inbred mutant children with heads on the side of their heads and mouths on the side of their fucking face, but the baby was normal.
The baby was normal.
Yeah. So that's fucking Tromeo and Juliet. It was way more interesting than the last 4 movies we fucking watched.
It was.
So,
I was entertained.
Yay!
Thank you, Lloyd Kaufman. It was entertaining.
Yeah. So that was that, and we never decided what we were watching next.
We'll figure it out.
So anyway, that was Tromeo and Juliet. For Bird and Gutter, once again, this has been one of the worst movies on Netflix.
We're ugly artists.
There's always going to be a Toxie in a fucking Troma After Tromeo and Juliet kiss at this party, bum bum bum, Lenny's back.
Dun, dun, dun. A fucking,
And then she goes back to, and then what the fuck happens? I have it written down here.